Hello, I'm Bego, a final year student of Biomedical Sciences at the University of Manchester. This video is the first one of a series of 3, where I will explain the emergent evidence that links Toxoplasma gondii protozoan to the onset of schizophrenia. The first video will provide you with the foundation to understand the 2 further videos, where I will explain in detail the mechanism by which the protozoan is thought to trigger the onset of schizophrenia in certain infected individuals. Schizophrenia is a severe neuropsychiatric disorder. It has a prevalence of 1% worldwide. Schizophrenia is manifested through very diverse symptoms, which are divided in 3 subtypes. The first subtype that I'm going to introduce you to are the denominated positive symptoms. This group of symptoms include hallucinations, meaning when someone hears, sees, smells, tastes, or feels things that do not exist outside their mind. The most common are auditory hallucinations, which are suffered by 75% of the individuals with schizophrenia, followed by visual hallucinations, reported in 16 to 72% of patients. The second most common type of positive symptoms are the delusions, which are fixed beliefs that they are not true. The most common are persecutory delusions, where the patient believes they are being spied on, sabotaged, and followed. This is followed by delusions of grandeur, or grandiosity delusions, where the patient believes there is someone other than who they are, such as a supernatural figure. The following subtype of symptoms are negative symptoms, related to the signs of withdrawal that a patient experiences from reality. This including withdrawal from social activities, lack of hygiene, and anhedonia, or not being able to feel pleasure. The final subtype of symptoms are cognitive deficits, suffered by 98% of the patients diagnosed with schizophrenia. Individuals especially suffer from handicaps in learning and memory. But how do these symptoms rise? What causes these symptoms to develop? The etiology, or the study of what causes a disorder, answered these questions. However, in schizophrenia, the causes remain still pretty unknown. The evidence suggests that it's caused by a mixture of environmental and genetic factors. Environmental factors include cannabis consumption, maternal stress, or infection by Toxoplasma gondii, and this is what I'm going to focus on. Toxoplasma gondii is an obligate intracellular protozoan, meaning it can only reproduce inside its definitive host, which are members of the Felidae family, cats and big cats. Toxoplasma gondii belongs to the apicomplexy phylum, such as Plasmodium falciparum, the causative agent of malaria. This is because they both share a structural feature defined as apical complex that help them penetrate the host, making them some of the most prevalent parasites in the world. Let me now briefly introduce you to the parasite's life cycle, which is simple but incredibly important in order to understand the further videos. The arrow is pointing at the cat, the definitive host in this life cycle. Let's assume that the cat is infected and is shedding Toxoplasma gondii cyst through its feces. This cyst will contaminate the soil and water where those cysts land. If vegetables are growing in the contaminated soil, when collected and if properly unwashed, they can infect the individual consuming them. The same occurs when individuals drink contaminated water with Toxoplasma gondii cyst. Grass makes up a large part of the diet of ruminants like sheep, goats, or cows. Thereby, if an infected cat has shed Toxoplasma gondii cyst in the grass where livestock that are being bred for human consumption obtain their nutrients, they will get infected. If these infected animals are processed for human consumption and are eaten undercooked or raw, the consumer will get infected. The final route of infection is through vertical transmission. This is when the infected mother transplacentally passes the protozoan onto the fetus, congenitally infecting it. You might be wondering, but what does actually occur if I get infected? Well, most people are asymptomatic. However, immunosuppressed individuals can suffer from severe consequences, such as encephalitis or cervical lymphadenitis. Also, congenitally infected newborns can suffer from bilateral blindness or hydrocephalus. If you want to know how this apparent mild infection might trigger the onset of schizophrenia, you will need to wait for the next 2 videos where I'll explain all of the evidence that exists until today. In the meanwhile, feel free to message me any question on any of the social media or email that is in the screen right now. Thank you so much for watching.